In the Bayonetta universe, or multiverse, you got magic witchy type characters that can use their hair as conduits to summon demons and do magical stuff with their hair to fight you with giant fists coming through portals and stuff. You got lumen sages who are the direct opposite of witches and stuff, and they're in the light instead of the darkness. Then you got hybrid umbran witches mixed with fairy type characters. Fairies in this universe probably have the least amount of screen time though. So here's the thing, the timeline's kind of convoluted, but in Bayonetta 3, we found out in that universe Luka was also a fairy. Some people have theories if this is just a reincarnated version of Lukeon. Yeah, it's a little weird when it comes to continuity because Lukeon supposedly died in Bayonetta Origins, but he's apparently alive and well here. And they clearly show that Luka and Lukeon were two different beings. They did end up becoming one apparently, so I guess this Lukeon is back somehow, some way that they never explained, previous events or whatever. Who knows? Convoluted timeline. This could be an alternate version of Lukeon, Prince Lukeon, you know what I mean? She gets the weary eyes at him though, like they had a bond from the past, like in Origins, but that's none of my business. But yeah, we've seen fairies give Umbra witches some issues. Even though these two games have two different art styles, we've technically seen Lukeon before. Well, Bayonetta has seen Lukeon before in the past, as young. Lukeon is mainly a beast because he has a royalty on his side. This is how he looks as an adult or in the newer games. Bayonetta's teacher even said that fairies are a formidable foe in comparison to their own might. Bayonetta's mentor saying that fairies are formidable foes seems to be a true statement because you see how fairies like Lukeon fuse together, what they can do to infernal demons that are going berserk. What his raw power can do that to him. He's technically the genetics of a human and a fairy, the human being the witch. It was believed that all the fairies were violent. His royal bloodline was actually dangerous, so they found a way to seal him up, separated his soul from his body. It's literally stated here, royal power. His spirit wasn't needed. So a big part of the game in Bayonetta Origins was to get his true body back from this white wolf form. But we don't really have much screen time for him, really, if I'm being honest. All we know is their power is formidable in comparison to Umbran witches. We've seen what Umbra witches can do in the past. Like Morgana pretty much said how witches use their hair to use infernal demons as tools and stuff. And even become one with their infernal demons on some demon masquerade type stuff. So we know for her to say that fairies are formidable foes, that means a lot. If you watch my Bayonetta videos on the channel, you'll see why this means a lot to get further context on it. So we know technically Umbra witches can transform. We know that fairies can technically transform from humanoid looking forms to monstrous like wolf-like forms like what we've seen Luka do in Bayonetta 3. Prince Lukeon technically has his own transformation he can turn into as well. One of his weird abilities he can do is do life force absorption type stuff or drainage to even powerful demons, and even somewhat clash with these demons' power with his own form of blast power, energy projection type stuff, and these two clashing to the point where there was even a point where he was narratively speaking overpowering the beam as a part of the cinematic. But he did eventually get overpowered because he was kind of trying to steal Cheshire and stuff, his life force and all that craziness. A good way to understand his might is to look at some weaker fairies that are not even of royal blood. These fairies, for example, you can see the weird stuff they can do, like literally using some type of energy rope to kind of drag them back into the forest with other fairies and stuff. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but since Luka and Lukeon technically became one, he should be the mightiest versions he's ever been, technically. So the one that Bayonetta grew up with and the Luka that she's always been flirting with or trolling all this time technically are one, so she can flirt and treat him that way, but still have the mighty power of the prince royalty type of thing. So one could say he's up there with Umbra, which is like Bayonetta. And you guys knew this was coming. You guys already know I got to bring up Singularity, a guy that literally became one with the universe or multiverse itself and was fighting the characters we know and love. And he was literally a helpful aid in fighting him, so he should be able to do this punch with comparable power to these beings as well. So basically Lukeon or Luka or either of them, technically the one we saw in Bayonetta 3 is even a mightier version than this. This guy was using universes to increase his attack power. He became one with the chaotic energy of the multiverse, becoming one with the universe or multiverse itself, and Luka was literally helping, or Luka or Lukeon was helping. Battle damaged such a being, he was not dead weight in this fight, so let you know he has to be somewhere comparable to Bayonetta, some way, form, or fashion, because of the power of friendship. In my Bayonetta video, I talk about this more extensively, but Singularity, those statements are literal. Because when he's defeated, the collateral of him being defeated literally made a black hole that was going to suck up the entire planet or universe. So it shows that these threats that these beings were fighting was legit. I mean, his name is Singularity. He literally became a singularity that was going to suck up everything. The fairies. Respect their might. They're up there with the Umbran witches. I hope they come up with a hybrid form in the future or something. But do me a favor and make sure you watch my previous Luka video. I've talked about Bayonetta content before on the channel. To get more lore in the context, you have to watch those on top of this in conjunction. Watching this by itself isn't enough, but before I get going, I gotta say, thanks for the donations, everybody. Helps out a lot. Respect Lukeon, or Luka, or Prince Luka, or Prince Lukeon, or